Hi everybody, it's Gypsy, and today we're getting together for some spiritual discussion, and we have a cat here who's acting up again. She's been so wild the last couple of days. I'm going to put her over here with me. Spiritual discussion, which will lead to the state of our planet today. It's been getting bad for, well, long before any of us were in these incarnations here. But it's sped up, and let's face it, it's really speeding up now. So we're going to start with the spiritual topic, which will naturally lead into that. Because let's face it, it all has to do with spirituality, whether you believe it or not. Because we are spirits in bodies. Okay? So we're going to start there. And it's going to be mostly my son John in the spirit realm speaking. I'm sure my father won't be able to resist this. He's laughing. Yeah. Others may join in from the spirit realm. But it's I've been doing a lot of thinking. It's a serious topic that we must face. And there's going to be a lot of you out there that don't agree with me. And that's fine. It's your choice not to agree with me, and that's what this is all about, choice. Okay? Okay, honey, so, yes, Mom, you wanted to start out with intuition. Right. I feel, this is Michelle, I feel it's the most important psychic ability is intuition, and it is a psychic ability. Right, Mother, and that's correct. It is very important, and you feel everybody has it. Right. Now, you were just thinking what I was thinking. We were brainwashed out of using it. Right. If you don't have cold, hard facts in front of you, then ignore your intuition, ignore your gut instinct, get rid of the critical thinking. Right. Right. Critical thinking is putting the facts together, but you need your intuition to do that too, I think. Right. Intuition is that gut feeling, and you get that information from upstairs. Right. That's why, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm too woo-woo, I guess, for this planet. Right? My mother said that. Yeah, this fact-checking shit really gets to me because I talk to spirits, okay? And I know a lot of you aren't into it and you think it's bullshit, and that's okay. You can think that. My thing, what I think, and I have my rights to my thoughts and my feelings, when I hear from heaven above, and I get that information there, and then, you know, people down here think they know better. When we're incarnated in a body, we're seeing through a mirror darkly, I think that verse went, and I'm not a Christian anymore, but that is a very good verse. We can't see the whole picture, so when I'm getting it from directly above, right, yeah, the fact-checking thing goes out the window for me. Sorry. Right. So, I'm sorry, honey. Go ahead, John. Right, Mom. So intuition is not just important for this day and age. It always has been. I agree with you, honey, on that. Right. Now, intuition has basically, been thrown out the window. Anybody who uses their intuition is, questioned highly. Some are deemed crazy. Right. Now, people like my mother, right. Yeah, anti-vaxxers, well, they're being deemed crazy by what my mother calls mainstream. Right. And I have no problem using the word mainstream because I am proud not to be mainstream. It's true. Right. But people like my mother view things differently than those who are sticking with the old paradigm. And it hasn't gotten to the point that we can call it the old paradigm. Our view from upstairs, from the spirit realm, is that it's very quickly becoming not just questionable, yes, but the old paradigm. Right. Well, this is what I'm seeing. This is Michelle speaking. Honey, I'm seeing more and more people questioning what the hell is going on. which I think is a very good start in the right direction. Right, but there are going to be those who are going to remain asleep, or my mother has coined the term zombies. I don't know that I coined that term. Oh, is that where you got it? Yeah. We're going to talk about that website in a while. Right, Mom. Don't let me forget, because I feel it's important for those who agree with me. They're going to want to look that up. Right, Mom. And again, you don't have to agree with me. That's perfectly fine. Right. If you don't, then why are you watching my video? I question that a lot. People who watch videos they don't agree with. Yeah. I don't know. Right. If you're open-minded and you want to learn, then watch these videos. But if you're not open-minded and you don't want to think about other options, then why are you doing it? It's very strange to me. Anyways, I'm sorry, honey. I keep taking back over. That's okay, Mother. So, that's true. The old paradigm, as we're calling it upstairs, because we see new ways coming in. Yay! Sorry, I scared my cat. I'm so excited. I've wanted new ways all my life. Right, Mom? You kind of wanted the new old ways. Right. A simple life. More simple life. I'm very into doing things the old-fashioned way. I think which is why I live as a nomad and I camp. That's how I live. I camp. Right, I live in the wilderness. I love nature. So I do things that way. But that's my choice. That's how I like. Right. But you're more into, right, Mom, choice and freedom. How do you want to live? Right. We might bring my great-great-grandmother in. You two girls have to tone it down. No, we can't. I'm my great-grandmother's great-granddaughter. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So yes, we do view it as the old paradigm. Okay, Mom, ask that question out loud. Right. Now, you always hear about the mass consensus, John, and we can change things. For instance, a few years back, when so many psychic mediums like myself were told on New Year's Day there was going to be a blackout, or electricity would go down. Right, excuse me. I'm sorry, everybody. I forgot to silence my phone, and I don't want it interrupting. And, that changed, because we changed it as a mass consensus. And now we're not aware of this consciously in this level, but remember, we're spirits first, right? So, you guys in the spirit realm seem awfully confident that we are going to change things. Yet, my question is, I know what your question is. I want people to understand what my question is, so I know you guys know what it is. What's the possibility of the mass consensus keeping the old paradigm? Well, basically what you're saying is, since we have either changed or kept things in the past based on the mass consensus, who's to say the mass consensus in this case aren't the ones who want to live, yes, in the 3D, third dimension. The lower vibration, yes, and we're talking, when we talk vibrations here, we are talking higher and lower. We're talking about, state of mind. Right. Let's leave it at that, yeah. They could possibly win out, but there are so many people now who want freedom and a better life that we're not seeing, the old paradigm winning out. And you guys are so hell-bent on making these changes. We are seeing this scenario coming in. Now, most of you know how that works. I did. Right. You can, as a, mass consensus, change it one direction or the other. But the mass consensus, thank you, Dad. Yeah, I need to hear my dad's voice. Yeah. The mass consensus I see winning out, and most of upstairs winning, is the new paradigm coming in. Right. And that's why we're saying it's changing. Okay. So, this intuition thing, and you kind of call it critical thinking. I think it's closely related, but not exactly the same. Right. Critical thinking is right. Getting all the both sides of the story. You've always told, that's how I raised you guys. Right. Me and my baby brother Christian. My mother always said, there's two sides to every story. Did you hear both sides? Did you get both sides? Yes. I feel very strongly about that, and I try to teach my boys that. Right, Mom. And you did a pretty good job with me. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. Right. Right. But you're eventually going to sway more to one side than the other. Now, my mother, I'm a diplomat. Yeah. It's like, well, I can see both sides. Right. Right. And there are going to be points I agree with and I don't agree with, but I see both sides. Right. And that would be more critical thinking. Getting the facts, getting both sides of the story, and thinking about it. Facts is a very blurry word these days, honey. That's true, Mom. Right. But thinking for yourself. Right. Hear others out. But especially if they're the powers that be you're getting that information from, automatically question and think about it. Right. Where intuition is more or less receiving that information from upstairs. Right. Now you're going to go into your little spiel. I am. There is more than one way to get information from upstairs. Okay? Not everybody, let's say, is willing to have a direct communication like I do. But it's not the only way to get that information. Right. There are signs, emotions. Emotions. Is that still a bad word these days? We're not sure. Okay. But anyways, there are many, many different ways. Many different psychic abilities. People talk about downloads these days. That is information from above. Right, Mom. It's coming down. It's a download, right? So anyways, you're right about that. So that's what we're talking about. When you receive information from, my mother's now calling about the spirit realm, a higher vibrational frequency on a physical level. Right, in mental and, well, every way. Love, yes. Right. You're more prone to see what I feel now is the obvious. Now, yes, let's be honest here, honey. Right? Yeah. Before I left this planet, had I known how my mother really felt, yeah, inexperienced, right, I would have thought she was woo-hoo crazy. Not woo-woo. Woo-hoo crazy. Well, to you, woo-woo would have been crazy, right? Exactly, but you get home to the spirit realm, and yes, you're seeing through the glass clearly. Right. Yeah, like you told me when you first crossed over, I see the big picture. The bigger picture, right. And that's true for all of us, not just for me or my family members. Right now, what you were telling me was more based on family. Right, but it does include, well, the entire universe. Right, right, Mom. So, that's what we're talking about, intuition. Right, you need your critical thinking, especially in this plane, in the physical plane. You need to think for yourself. This is where my mother is going to go off on the school systems. Yes. They don't, right, they don't teach anything practical for our children to survive in life. They also tell our children what to think. Not how to think, what to think. It's not critical thinking, right? They are government run, yeah. Anyways, right. So, Mother, that's where my issue lied when I was here. Being told what to do. Right. You say that. Yeah, I don't know how to explain this. It was like I could see what was going on, but I did not have the gumption, Dad, to stand up and say no. So I kind of conformed. I tried to get my children to conform. So I was having them do the right thing in the old paradigm. And I regret that. Because, well, and it was a pre-life plan for you to go. But it is what caused John to go. Right. if that makes sense, right? Um, it's true. My mother did conform to the point you never knew who I really was. That's right. So he gets home to the spirit realm and boy, is he shocked. That's my mom, right? Yeah, you had the, right outside your bedroom window, I had spiritual experience, spirit games, yeah. I was like, shh, be quiet, I can't talk. Do you know my son is sleeping right out in the other side of that open window, and he will think I'm fucking nuts, so don't do this to me, right? And I was not aware of that until I left, I went back to the spirit realm, thank God, right? Now I have to contend with your brother. Being so crazy, right? It's okay, because when he gets home, he'll know Mom isn't. Right. I mean, home to the spirit realm. Right. So, and that is how that works. I played my part here, and I played it well. Too well for me. Right, because in a life plan, we planned for him to leave before me. And it's hard. Okay. It's hard for me. I still cry. It's been 7.5 years, and I still cry. It's okay to cry 7.5 years or whatever. However long after the loss of a loved one. So, yeah. Right, it's been a rough life plan. Right. So anyways, back on topic. Okay. So, right. That is where my mother, well, gets angry with raising our children. We have taken power away from the family unit. At the risk of sounding, well, I don't know if I don't know where Christians stand anymore. I've been out of the church so long, but when I was in it, the family unit was very important. They were angry. The power had been taken away. And it's true. They're not your children, people. By godly rights they are, but in this plane, no they aren't. They're the government's. Do you want to bring great-grandma in? Your great-grandma? Your great-great-grandma? Right? What you guys think? What does great-grandma think? Sounds good to me. Yes, I'm going to bring in my beautiful great-grandmother, Ethel Nubuhite. Okay. The other strong psychic medium in the family. Yeah, now she's what I call the reverse psychic medium. She's not anymore. She doesn't have to be. Right. Thank you. She's got her hand. Hi, Grandma. Hi, Michelle. Okay, so we had this discussion about a year ago, right? We talked about the old days, what it was like in my time. Now, when it comes to family, right, hold me back, great-grandma. Right. I told you once, in our day, we never would have dreamed. The government would have so much control over our families, our children especially. It was always the parents' job to raise, teach morals, and make decisions. Right. Now, they will use that excuse. Right. You just thought, oh, well, would they consider abuse today? Right. We won't go there. Right. So anyways, we were never ever told we had to send our children to school. Right. I hear these days, well, you can get big time fined or arrested for not sending your children to school. Oh, even if they're late too many times. Right, we had that issue. Right. The parent gets in trouble. We did not have that. And I told you, I would have never conceived of such a concept when I was here. Right. Now, when I got upstairs, I could see it coming. Right. Now, for your parents, my Kenny's generation, when they raised you, they were told it was a very good thing. Right. You feel school was, well, a bit better when I went to school compared to my children. Right. And now this generation, well, yeah, they're not being taught. Right. So, when I was here, I couldn't see this coming. Okay? And yes, we had more freedoms. We had we lived a more simple life. You're right. We did not have the technology, that's for sure. We did not have the government in our business. Well, Great Grandma, what was the government like when you lived here? The U.S. government. Well, that's the very reason my parents came here from Wales. There was more freedom. Right. It was cute. I'm sorry. I met somebody a couple weeks ago when they heard I had Welsh, and he said, "Oh, so that's where your psychic mediumship abilities come from." I was like, "How'd you know that?" Right. Anyways, before we get off topic again, right. We came here for the freedoms, and the government was less strict. Right. Somehow we fell into that trap. My great-granddaughter's thinking, yeah, oh, sorry, Dad, that was you. Right. Anyways, it was different back then. It was more of what the country's supposed to be like. Right. The original plan for this country, it was much more like that, so people were coming over here. So now, you want to say tyrannical. Yes, I do. That's what I see, Great-Grandma. John, you're back. Right. Right. Now, she said what she had to say. Okay. Right, because I was in, what was it like? It was like what it was originally supposed to be. Right. The country was extremely young at that time. Right. It gets more stupid as it gets older. So it's supposed to be the other way around. Right. That was both of you. Right. Okay, so anyways. Mother, Great-Grandma's right. It was a more simpler time. And you and Grandpa talk about that show. Oh, yeah, when I was a kid, there was the show called Little House on the Prairie. And we used to watch it, well, every week, right? And Dad and I would be sitting there, oh, we wish we could live like that. Right? We were probably the only two in the house doing that, right? Let's go back. Right. So, you look for that more simpler time. And that's a good thought. Say what you just thought. Yeah, I'm thinking that more simpler time may not be for everybody. Getting out from under the control, under the thumb of the powers that be, does not necessarily mean, and I could be wrong about this, but this is the way I'm feeling right now, you have to go back to that simpler time. Right, Mother. Say that too. However, if the mierda, the shit really hits the fan, it could be we have to. Okay? But I'm not so sure this is going to happen. I choose more simpler ways of life. But I don't think you have to make the improvements. So what are your thoughts on that, John? All right, Mom. You picking up with that Appalachian accent, too? Right. My mother has partial one, and most of you do. Great-Grandma definitely, that's right. Anyways, I feel you're partially true. You do have it in your head that this could happen where technology and the grid goes down. And you do base it a lot on what happened when I was, yeah, you were a young teen. Right, and Christian was a very little boy. Right. In the East, the entire grid, we had it brown out major for a long time. I could see it happening. I think I had that experience. Right, my biggest concern was my mother. I was bouncing back and forth from her house to mine, making sure everything was okay. Right. Based on that experience, yes, it can happen. And then Great-Grandma's saying all of yins down here who have the abilities receiving that message, there's a good chance there could have been another blackout or brownout, whatever. I don't know the difference, right? It was dark, right? On that New Year's Eve. But that never happened. Right, so you're more aware things are not engraved in stone. Right, exactly. Because the mask, you think about manifestation on an individual level. Well, when you have the mass consensus, yeah, consensus, it's an even stronger thing. Right. And you're right about that. There is always that chance that anything man has built can go tumbling down. Oh, that's very true, because everything in this realm is very temporary, and it's destructible. Right. That's a good way to put it, Mother. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm talking to a bunch of people at once. Right, you kind of are. Okay, hold on. Yeah, can we make it individual, more or less? All right, Great-Grandma, that was you. Right. I can start getting like that. hearing to it, or feeling to it, right? So great-grandma said that, right, and it can, and that was a very good way of putting it, right? It's all temporary in this realm. Our physical lives and everything in here that especially we create is temporary. Right, physically, right. And so that can happen, and you know that. And people like yourselves talk about, well, if it happens. Some people are damn sure it's going to happen. I'm not so sure. Be prepared for that. But if it doesn't, right, Mom, you're saying you don't have to give that up. I would like to. Right. So that's where the more simpler way of life comes in. And you and Grandpa were attracted to that. Right. Now for you, it could be that reason you were attracted to it. Yeah, right. For my dad, not so much, because he left here at my age. Right. Yeah, it's been, 25 years now. Right. So you don't have to give up your technologies and stuff, provided things don't come crumbling down. Right. Now, we did talk in one video about there being 2 camps. Yes, you hear about that new Earth, and some people have it like in their head that it's actually going to split off, and there's going to be 2 Earths like almost next to each other. My mother's like, well, that doesn't sound possible. Right. Physically possible. There's going to be 2 camps. And we talked about that. My mother is calling the vaccination the Great Divide. Well, if racism and other things did not work, well, we'll just come up with this, right? Divide and conquer. Right. They can divide, but they're not going to conquer everybody. Right. So there will be these 2 factions. Will be? Yes, there is now. Right. But it's going to develop into something more. Okay? Now, I don't want any of you to worry that things are going to get too violent. Yeah. I don't like violence, great-grandma. Right. So, what's going to happen is more and more people are going to be coming over to this camp, okay, that's more into freedom and open-mindedness, right? Exactly. My mom is saying, we have more power than we think, and we have to claim it back. And yes, that's right. Ralph Smart talked about this morning. He put out a video early this morning. Well, early for the time zone Ralph and I are in. Yeah. I'm going to put that link at the bottom. I think it's very important everybody watches that. Right. Anyways, these 2 camps, eventually, not that they'll merge, more and more people will see, oh, it's better over there. Right. I have freedom. I can do what I want. This scare, please go there, honey. Nobody ever held you back before. Right. Even when he was here. You see his Facebook page. Anyways. Yeah, different subjects, but yeah. They are going to start to merge, right? You're right. It's going to take a while. I'll never see that. That's right. Now, my niece, when she comes into this planet, do you think my granddaughter will see that? She will. She'll see more of it, right? All of these developments take a while, right? It took us a while to get here. Right. So anyways, it's going to merge like that, but you're not going to see that. You, right, are in the roughest time of the transition. Right. We are, guys. This is Michelle. We are in the bad part of the transition. Every change, every transition is difficult and painful. And you have that build-up, and then it starts smoothing out. Okay, so we're at the very difficult part. Right, Mother. Now, this scare with the vaccine, right. We've had other vaccines, and you said to me this morning, I wish I would have considered it when you guys were young. Because I worked in a pediatrician's office. You said they have developed more vaccines to the point these kids are getting inoculated left and right, and the ages have gotten older. I mean, we're going into early teens now, where these kids have to keep getting inoculations for this, that, and the other thing. Right. And you said now they want to make it so we don't have a choice. Yes, that adults don't have a choice for the vaccine. And then you thought, wait a minute, we never had a choice with our kids either. Because All right, back in your day, and my children's day, when you and your brother, right, homeschooling wasn't really a thing. Um, and right, you would get in trouble by the authorities that be if you didn't send your kid to school, but you couldn't send your kids to school unless they had the vaccine. So you had that, yeah, circular catch-22. So they had you trapped. So whether you knew it or not, Mom. Right. Now, you believe me, some. All right. Yeah, your great aunt died of polio at age 4. Right. The polio vaccine did get rid of it. But you feel there are way too many vaccines to the point our immune system is screwed up. Right. Now, talk about that. I suffer from ME/CFS. I get an infection or something like that, I am down for the count really bad. And it was worse when I lived in society. Now that I live in the wilderness, I'm doing much better. But I question that. Why is my immune system, why are there so many of these immunological problems? Because we have babied our immune systems, our bodies, to the point by these vaccines and stuff like this and overprotecting ourselves, our immune system is weakened. So you have these weird illnesses like ME/CFS. Right, Mother. Right, ME/CFS. Now I forgot the first word, but it's chronic fatigue syndrome. And let me tell you, chronic fatigue syndrome goes from chronic fatigue to pain. Or at least mine did. Right. And they can't figure it out. And you came to the conclusion. Like you said, we've babied our bodies, our immune systems, to the point they're not growing. They're not growing stronger. Right. And you do believe more in the old way of health care. Right. Let, people naturally deal with the illnesses internally. This way their immune system gets stronger. Right. I think I might. Right now? Okay. Right, so my mom was questioning whether we should go into this. Right, we talked about pre-life planning. Everybody has a predestined time that they leave here. Now, you want to know, has there ever been a time where people leave inadvertently when it's not their time? I'm going to say yes and no. Oh, this is very complicated. Yeah, it's true. You can accidentally leave or intentionally leave based on your higher self's, I'm going to say, decision. Okay? Because you and your higher self have this connection, this communication. And if there's a reason your higher self, your soul, feels you need to leave, you can change your mind. Right. So it's not necessarily predestined, but most people have a time frame picked out. Sometimes I do have a mode of exit picked out. Right. But not always. It's just a time frame. So a lot of times, what's ever going on during that era that you live in is used to leave. Okay? So yes, right, COVID virus. People have died from that. My mom is never going to deny that. Right. My father really didn't die of cancer. He died of pneumonia. Right. And that's my point. It's based on, your timing to leave and the strength of your body. So, you know of 2 people who got COVID. Now, what did she say to you? I asked her, how bad was it? What were the symptoms? And she said to me, she's somebody slightly younger than me, so she's middle-aged. It wasn't as bad as I thought. The worst thing was I couldn't taste or smell my food. She said it was just like a flu. Right. Now, naturally, it is more contagious, I think. I could be wrong about that. This is Michelle speaking. It seems to be. Although I'm not receiving truths, so I really can't say. But she lives with her grandmother who's in her 80s. Her grandmother got it. Now, naturally, being an older woman in a weakened state, she did have a worse case of it. Okay. Right, Mother. Now, what you were told about her grandmother was she recovered from COVID, and she's doing fine. Right. Now, yes, people do get various severities of an illness, and it is dependent on that. Okay. So not everyone is dying. It is dependent on your time frame. Right, your life plan. It is also, and this does coincide, it works together, the condition of your body. Right. So say you're an elderly or very sickly person, chances are it's going to be like pneumonia, like with my grandfather, and take you out. Okay. So that's how that works, just like any other illness, right? And you, I'm not going to say yes or no because I don't want to get you into trouble. Okay. But you very possibly are right that yes, it is like any other illness, possibly more contagious, possibly the same. I don't want to go there. That's not the point of this discussion. It's true. Right. It is being used by many as their mode of exit, as my mother likes to say. Now here, in the physical plane, you're not going to agree with that because you've lost your spiritual memory. We're supposed to. Right. So you're not aware of your higher selves and the more spiritual side of you, what your decision was before you came in here. So you won't be able to remember it, and you're not going to agree. Now, that being said, my mother, I want to say, takes great umbrance with, there's like an anti-death movement going on. Nobody can die, and we have to prevent anybody, I don't care how old you are, from getting out of here. Right. But then on the other hand, and it's almost like it's the same group of people, I don't get this, complain about overpopulation. It's like you, go ahead, say that, Mom. This is Michelle. It's like you're fighting the cycle of life. You don't want to bring more children in, yet nobody can die. And you complain about overpopulation, and you try to prevent a disease to the point, and I don't really think this is the purpose of this illness, but you try to prevent deaths. Now, nobody likes to lose loved ones, and I understand that. I've had so many losses since I was a little girl. I'm a grieving mother, too. It's hard. I know it's hard. We don't like it. Not while we're here in the physical realm, but it's a natural cycle of life, and we are fighting it from both ends, and I don't get that. Right. And your point there was, if you're going to complain about overpopulation, then why are you so worried about inoculating everybody for, every little thing? Right. Now, you just thought of Great Aunt Sandy. Your Great Aunt Sandy, right? My Great Aunt Sandy, who died at the age of 4 from polio. Yeah, right. You're thinking about your grandparents' broken hearts. Right. And that is painful. It's painful. Being a grieving parent. We skipped a generation. Yeah. However, Aunt Sandy, in her pre-life plan, just like Uncle Wes, who, he died at 6 months, it was a pre-life plan not to stay here long. And it's going to be something like a disease or something mysterious. Mom feels with Uncle Wes it was probably SIDS, and they don't know what causes that, but that is used for a shorter lifespan, or even to get you up right as an older age. There's always needs to be a mode of exit. Okay, the body's eventually going to break down anyways, but if you want an earlier exit, you kind of need a way to get out, right? So like with Aunt Sandy or even Uncle Wes, there was something wrong with the body, and they got rid of it. Right. So in Aunt Sandy's case, now back then they weren't sure it was polio yet. From upstairs, they're saying, they were correct. It was polio. There was no vaccine yet. Now, it did eradicate that illness, which, right, in the physical realm perspective, is good. However, what happens, Mom? Other illnesses come up. Right. you feel there will always be some type of deterioration of the body. There's always going to be, for those spirits, who have signed up for a shorter life, to get out, whether it be accident or illness. Right. And that's very true. But the body needs to release the spirit in some way. Now, the bigger issue here is, well, you are very into over-inoculation. Right. Yeah, it's hard for me, like vaccinating children. Even though it's hard for me to have the information, this Michelle, from upstairs that I do, and then see this down here. It's a very difficult position to be in. When my boys were young, they did have their vaccines. Nowhere near as many as when I was working in a pediatrician's office. And in a way, like with my great aunt, okay, she had polio, okay, that's gone. And that's a good thing, but is it? I mean, does it matter? It doesn't really matter, because another disease is going to come and take its place to help. And I know this sounds odd to those of you who don't have this knowledge. Something else will come and take its place to help those who are leaving earlier get out. And it is help, believe it or not. And I know when you're grieving, believe me, I know it's probably more than a lot of people. You know, it's not going to make sense, and you're not going to buy it, and that's okay. You don't need to really have this knowledge, but over-inoculating, and now into adulthood. Right, Mother? I'm not sure I want to say what your friend said the other day. What? I don't know that it's true. I didn't even think about it till my friend said it. But it is a good possibility. And it is worth considering. I'm not saying it is. But it is worth considering. That's true, Mom. I was just joking. Okay, so Mother's friend, they were talking about this stuff the other day, said she was the vaccine. They're so hell-bent on getting the entire planet, inoculated. What is in there? Right. What are the side effects, etc.? Now, your friend thought, well, there's a possibility. There's been talk about this, back in the old days, before the technology came into being, they called it the mark of the beast. Right, for lack of a better term. Right. Yeah. The powers that be are a beast, let's face it. Right. Then, as we moved along in history, and we got to the technology part, we saw how it could be. The chip. Right. How do you know that chip's not in the vaccine? I'm not, right, Mom's not saying it is. But how do you know it's not? Right. Yeah, there's going to be the naysayers saying Mom's crazy and shit like that. I'm used to it. You're entitled to your opinion. Go ahead. I'm entitled to mine. And that could happen too. False medical or unverified false medical information. Oh yeah, she does. Right. Could be deleted. And Mom will just go to another platform who might be more open to it and put it there then. I'm going to spread my message whether the powers that be like it or not. As long as I'm here, and when I cross over, then I'll find, if I haven't accomplished my goal, I will do it through somebody else who's here. Right, you can't stop me. In, form, or out, you can't stop me. Look at my son, my family, yeah. Right, so that is something to consider. Whether, and I'm not even going to ask you guys whether it's true or not. Right, we cannot give all information from the spirit realm. Yes, we base it on the safety of the people here. Right. And then there are people who have died for certain causes in the past, and that was, yes, in their life plan, so that was allowed to sneak out. For the most part, people aren't supposed to be going to their death for this. Yeah, so we've grown more in that department. for the most part. You don't go, right. Oh yeah, those doctors and everything. So anyways, right. That was several years ago. That's where I was going with this. Now, you'd think, yeah, you talk about these two camps a lot, honey. I consider that a lot. Now, to me, this is Michelle. I wish there was a way. Okay, I'm not, yeah. Then stay away from me. Maybe we should be divided. I mean, we're already divided metaphorically. Okay? Maybe we should be divided physically. Okay, we're going to stay over here, not get the vaccine, etc., and live our lives. You guys stay over there. I mean, I can almost see that happening. Okay? You're right about that, Mother. That is kind of what's going to happen. And you can't really have that divide, right? Nobody really owns property. It's an illusion. Right. Yeah, you don't own nature. You are nature. You're part of nature. It controls you, not the other way around, right? Anyway, just an illusion. Right. And that's true. So where would you go to do this? How would you do it? And you want a different society, Mom. Oh, yes. Talk about what you want. It's not a concept. It really was a thing at one time, and I think it might still be in some places of Africa. And there is a movement to bring it back. It is called Ubuntu Contributionism Society. Communities. What it is, and I know this freaks people out, but let's face it, it's not that Jesus said money was the root of all evil. It causes the evil by how we perceived it and used it. And I don't think money was ever meant to be a thing. We invented that. Because I think we made the mistake of starting to trade, barter. And that's when money came in. But money has caused division and caste systems, levels. It has been how people have been valued in this realm, which is entirely ridiculous, people. A spirit incarnated in a human body, a human being, is priceless. And there is no one who is worth more than another or less. Money has nothing to do with it. Your credit score is not your value. It's only a way for them to control you. The powers that be. So, in a contributionism community, society, people contribute their talents. And like I've always said, everybody has a talent. Everybody has an Italian. Yeah, the one talking to you right now. Right. So, everybody has a talent. Something to contribute to a community. Okay? I think these days, the viewpoints, the opinions of what a talent is, what is important that somebody has to offer, has been messed up and skewed. Okay? Everybody has at least one talent that they can contribute to society. And what society needs to live, the services we need, has been skewed. To the point it's too grandiose. Things we don't really need, we're being told we need, etc. So, I mean, something simple as being able to cook is a talent that can be contributed to the community. Compassion for others is a talent. An important one that can be contributed to the community. I worked for hospice. I sat vigil, or I sat with a family in mourning, who was in the process of losing someone. That's a service to the community. Okay? That is important. So, whatever your talent may be. For instance, alright, I'm an artist. I know how to sew. I know how to cook. I'm less like a comedian. I can get information from upstairs. However, there are many other important things I know nothing about, like harvesting power, water witching, etc. Anything that's scientific or technology, I don't get it. Okay, so you have people who have that talent, which is just as important. Everybody's talents are equal and are needed to contribute to the society. Now, in the contributionism society, there is no money, and there isn't even trading, bartering. It's contributionism. I wish I remember how that saying went. I am because we are. Okay? It takes a village, not just to raise a child, but for all of us to exist. So in these communities, you are contributing your talents. Now, somebody needs your talent, your gift to the world. They use it. They come to you for your help and your expertise and your talent. And what you need from someone else, from their talent, you take. There is no ledger system. Nobody's keeping score. Nobody's keeping tabs. There is no caste system. It is all about love, acceptance, and helping one another. That is what humanity was always meant to be. Now, there are those of you who don't believe it's possible, and it's not a thing. It never should. This never, the way things have been, with money and the caste systems and stuff, never should have been. There was a time humanity was like I'm talking about. Education is fucked up. It's nothing but a brainwashing factory for our children. Now, in an Ubuntu society, you would go around your community, your village, whatever. A child would. Watching the adults do their work. Okay? And that's another thing. Work is 3 hours a day. The rest is spent with your family where it should be. I have a lot of bitterness being taken away from my children to work most of my life instead of raising them. Anyways, child goes around and they see where their interests lie. And when they find an adult who's doing something they're very interested in, they watch them most of the time and eventually become an apprentice, and they learn how to do that. And there is no one down that child's throat telling them what they should be when they become older, when they become an adult. Nobody is saying to them, like they did to my son, who is, when he was still here, highly intelligent, straight-A student, you need to do this because of your grades. You're so smart, you have to do this, and you have to go to college, etc. What they were essentially telling my son was, you're so goddamn smart, we want to brainwash you so we can use your intelligence for our benefit. Sorry. We'll have to talk about that one day. But anyways, that's how a child learns. Instead of this governmental-run school system, the child, we teach to the child, hone in on their talents, and the child will tell you what their talents are and their interests are. That's how children should learn, and that's how it would be in an Ubuntu contribute, and I can't even say it, society. So that's what I am putting my attention towards, and I heard about it several years ago, and I've always been enthralled about it. I think for people like me, it's our best bet of getting out of the matrix and living a free life, being who we truly are, and using our talents. I had a job all my life when I was still in the matrix that was not meant for me. I was miserable. That should never be. It should never be based on what's popular in society at the time. It's always should be your talents, your gifts to give to society. You have gifts to give to the community. Give. That's the key word. Your God-given talents were to give to the community. Everybody's like that. So that's basically what that is. I'm on a website called freedomcells.org. Now what this is for people like me who are looking for a better way of life. And they have different groups and things you can join to learn more and get together with people who are focused on your interests in that way. Now, I did sign up for one that was based on an Ubuntu society, and I have not heard back from them. So I'm thinking maybe that one may not be active anymore, and I'm looking into starting a group, or what they call a cell, on freedomcells.org. on a contributionism society. And I'll keep you updated on that for those of you who are interested. I am not shoving anything down anybody's throat. I'm not trying to convince you of everything. I want you to think for yourself. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine. That's great. Go do your own thing. That's what it's about. Don't beat each other up about it. I don't agree with you. That's not for me. Move along. Go find what is. It's a problem with this world. We want to beat the shit out of each other, whether it's physically or verbally or both. It's stupid. It's beneath us. It's beneath us. It's not right for you. Move on. It's okay. But that's where my focus is for a better tomorrow. Contributionism society. Because those talents and gifts you were given to you freely by our Creator. So that you can give them to humanity freely. And let's think about this. This is something I got from Ralph Smart. He really opened my eyes to this. Why are we the only species on this planet that has to work ourselves into not an early grave these days. They worked on keeping us alive too long. Right. I know. It's a pre-life plan thing. And that. We're the only species on this planet who works the majority of our life and pays to live. No other species is paying to live. So that's something to think about. Yeah, I went off on a tangent again. I always do that. I need to sit. Right. Okay, so I wasn't giving you the finger. It was the only one available. Right. Whoops. Something fell. Anyways, okay, so go ahead. So anyways, Mom, that was very truthful and honest, very heartfelt. Yeah, I feel very strongly about it. What we can see from upstairs is that people like my mother, who feel very strongly about this, are going to win for themselves. Right. This is not a takeover. The last thing people like my mother want to do is control others. Can I say that? Right. Liberals, you need to change your name. Right. Because liberal means free, and you aren't promoting freedom, so you need to find a different title. Unless we're changing that definition too, I don't know. Right. So people like my mother are in essence more truly indicative of liberalism. Think for yourself. We're not trying to push our agenda on you. We want this for us. Right, Mom? We want it for us. If you want to join us, great. If you don't, that's fine too. Right. I say that. Yes, I would say that, Mom. I put this information out there for people who want it, who are interested. It's not for everybody. Nothing is for everybody across the board. Right. So if you're like me, and you're interested, and this resonates with you, then please join me. It's me getting emotional. I feel his emotions like he's crying. That was very heartfelt, Mom. Yeah. I feel very strongly about it. Freedom. Right. Small governments, if we need them at all. Self-governing community would be great. Keep it tiny. Yeah, it's like, well, it's kind of like how this country was supposed to start. Now we've got this. Big brother. Right. Exactly. You hit it on the head about talent. Right. Those are God-given gifts. Gifts are free. If life is a gift, which you hear so often, then why do we have to pay for it? And it's not a gift, right? But the talents that God gave us were given to us freely, and we were meant to share them freely with our brothers and sisters here in this realm. So what the hell happened? Right. Now, those who want us, right now they feel safer in there. They still feel somebody needs to take care of them. Right. So, they need to stay there at this time because it's where their comfort zone is. And that's okay too. What you don't want, Mother, is for those who feel safer in the old paradigm to try to force it in you. And what better way to force it on those who don't want it than by guilting them and telling them that they're selfish? That's true. And the way you live, well, you can easily stay away from people. Yeah. Right. I'm a nomad. Basically a loner. I do get together with people, but my own kind. Right. So I am, in essence, doing that now. Right, Mom, that's true. And you chose to be a nomad because you wanted to get out from society, not be in the city, first of all. Right, that's how the city affects my mother. Right, and the control of others. And you want to learn to live off the land. Yes, live off the land. Yeah, I do. Oh, yes, I know somebody who makes those fishing poles, bamboo fishing poles. I haven't fished since I was a little girl. You're going to have to reteach me that, right? The gutting, you Ken did that, my brother. So, yeah, I didn't know how to do that. So, yeah, I'd have to learn that. There's so many things my mother wants to learn. Survivalism, just in case. Right, you're not the type that says, oh, this is definitely going to happen and try to scare everybody. You don't believe in instilling fear. No. Fear, if somebody's trying to make you afraid, they're trying to control you. Right, I am not trying to do that. Right. There's a possibility everything can go down. I don't know if it's going to happen, and I'm not asking. You guys, it's a possibility, right, Mom? I'd like to learn to just, and not only just in case, it would just be fun. I have a friend who forages off her own land. It's amazing, right? You want to learn that stuff. It's an interest for you. For others, it would cause fear. Right. You always feel it's going to work out somehow. Right. It will. That's how I feel. It might be anxiety-inducing when it's happening, but it always works out. It's true. So, in essence, what you just say, it doesn't matter what camp you're in. What matters is, do you have the choice to choose your camp? That's what's important, the freedom to choose what you want for yourself. Right, Mom, you want to be inoculated? Go ahead. Those who don't want to should have the choice not to. Right, I'll stay away from you. Yeah, I'll create my own community. Right, I have no problem with that. Right. So anyways, yeah, I think that was basically where we were going. Yeah, it's a whole big open thing. Yeah, I think it's a very serious matter we need to consider. It's not really right. Which one of us is talking? We do this a lot, right? We're both saying this because we both feel strongly about it. Michelle and John. The issue is not really the virus or the vaccine. The issue is our freedom of choice especially, and our freedom of speech. Well, that's gone. Right? Watch this disappear. I've been kicked off Facebook for good just for saying freedom of speech is a thing of the past. They kicked me out for life. Think about that. Right. And that's true. It's not really the vaccine or the virus. It's the issue. It's a tool, a weapon, right? It's more gaining more control over the masses. Right, let's face it. They've had control in various ways for centuries now. And now, well, yeah, they're upping their game. Is that Ralph who said that? Ralph Smart? I don't even remember now, Mom. I think that's his video last week. Right. I lost it. Right. Well, that's not important. We both lost it because we're both feel very strongly about this. Right. Now, we did basically get our point across. My mother is going to put, one, Ralph Smart's video from this morning, that link there, freedomcells.org. Right. Yes, this is Michelle. I am going to keep you updated on if and when I get this virtual community, virtual first. I'd like to make it real, not virtual. Right. Eventually on freedomcells.org. It will be on there. We'll talk about it later. As it develops, I'll let you know. I think it's important. Okay. Right, Mom. You have anything else to say? Not really. Don't ask the whole family that everybody gets, it's always been that way. Yeah, I remember when you guys were kids and time to leave, and you and Christian would be like, Mom, are you alright? Yeah, we start talking. We're going now, kids, put your coats on. Yeah, winter in Ohio. We're still in the house talking away. My kids are burning up. Yeah, that could happen still, right? From the other room. Right. So we're going to leave you with that. Okay. So we're going to leave you with that. Food for thought. Don't get mean if you don't agree with me or anybody who may comment. Everybody's entitled to their own outlooks. We all are. It doesn't mean we beat the shit out of each other if we don't agree. That shit's got to go. Let's think of the best. It's the best. Right. So, I'll leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.